On today's video, we're now going to talk about trigonometry. On the previous video, we spoke about Pythagoras theorem. And in this video, you'll see the relevance of why we started by learning about Pythagoras theorem. So first, let's find out what is trigonometry. Trigonometry, we're simply speaking about what? The measure of a side and an angle. This sign represents an angle. So, in other words, when we use the word measure, we're simply speaking about how long or short a side is, or how large or smaller an angle is. That's what we want to know. So we're going to be working with sides and angles, right? And remember, we said that Pythagoras theorem works with the right angle triangle. So if I'm to draw a right angle triangle here, this is where our 90 degrees is. Now we're saying the measure of, we want to know, let's label it point A, point B, point C. We want to know how long is this side, line AB, how long is this side AC, or how long is this side BC. We also want to know, besides the fact that this is a 90 degree, because the right angle indicates that, but we also want to know how large is this angle B, or how small is this angle C. That is what we are doing in trigonometry. We are dealing with sides and angles, right? So, in other words, the purpose of trig is to measure the side and an angle. That is the purpose of trig. Now, we've got what are called trigonometric ratios. There are three ratios that we work with, which we call trigonometric ratios. Trigonometric ratios. And these trigonometric ratios are as follows. We've got what we call sine, right? We've got what is called cos, and what is called tan. But the full name for this sine is sine with the letter E, and the full name for cos is cosine, and the full name for tan is a tangent. But we use shortcuts to represent this sign, so we write SIN, COS for cos, and TAN. These are the shortcuts, acceptable shortcuts in mathematics. Now, what is it that is happening? We are going to use trigonometric ratios where there is 90 degrees. Without 90 degrees, we can't use trigonometric ratios. So, let me just adjust here. Trigonometric ratios. Now, what we're going to do, I'm now going to introduce you to the ratios. Remember, when you say ratios, you must have a numerator or a denominator. So when we speak about sine, we say sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. Now, this letter theta, this theta is a late letter, and you spell it like this. In Greek, actually, it's called theta, not theta. However, for most of us South Africans, we say theta, theta, theta. That's why I'm saying theta. But in Greek, it's called theta. Now, this is a letter. And what we have learned from algebra is that whenever you don't know the value of a number, you use a a letter. So we use Latin letters from letter A to letter Z. But in trigonometry, we use letter theta. We also have got letter beta. This sign means beta. And then we have got this sign, which is difficult for me to draw, which looks something like that, which is called alpha. So whenever you see theta, beta, or alpha, you must know that we do not know how large an angle is. That's what it means. Now, let's continue. With sine theta, it means we utilize the opposite side over the hypotenuse. With the cos theta, we utilize adjacent over hypotenuse. With tan theta, we utilize opposite over adjacent. That is what we utilize. All right. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase so that I can draw a triangle. In the meantime, I want you to copy sin theta, cos theta, tan theta. Now, I'm going to draw a right angle triangle here. All right. I'm going to name it point A, B, and C. And if I come here, now, what's happening with this particular triangle? I'm given that this side we have got 7 centimeters. And on the other side, we have got 25 centimeters. And very important, I've been given that I'm working with this angle C here. This angle C. So what's happening? Before we forget, we said that we use trig ratios for what? Number 1, to find an unknown angle. Number 2, to find an unknown side. In this instance, we've been provided with 2 sides, and they are not saying that we must find the third side. As a matter of fact, they're saying that we must find this angle C. We must know how large or smaller that angle C is. So now, don't forget, sin theta, cos theta, and tan theta. We have got what we call, for you to remember this, we have got what is called SOH CAH TOA. This all means the numerator is opposite and the denominator is hypotenuse. A, the numerator is adjacent, denominator is hypotenuse. O, numerator is opposite, denominator is adjacent. So now what am I going to do? Based on this angle, I've got this side AB, which has got 7 centimeters. And if I draw something like this, I realize that, oh no, problem. This side AB is opposite angle what? Angle C. So I say that I've got opposite. And then this side line AC is hypotenuse. So which means I've got opposite over hypotenuse. I come to my 3 trig ratios. Where is opposite over hypotenuse? It's here on sin. So in other words, we are now saying sin angle C is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, and we say sin and angle C that we do not know is equal to, what is the opposite? It is 7 over, what is the hypotenuse? 25. Now, they have asked us to what? To find the angle C. So from there, what are we going to do? We are now going to transpose this sin, because remember, we're looking for the angle. So here now, we write that C is equals to, when you transpose sin, it becomes inverse sin. Meaning to say it becomes opposite. So when I have written it like this means inverse sin. Inverse sin. Now I write 7 over 25. But I put it, this 7 over 25, I put it inside the brackets. And I come here and I say, therefore, angle C is equal to, I now go to the calculator, whereby now I find out. Okay, inverse sin, in order, remember, now check. You have got this button sine, cos, and tan. Now, when we say inverse, when you want this inverse, you press the shift and then you press your sin. There we go. Now it has given you inverse sin. Now you press 7 over 25, which is equal to 16 comma. So in this particular instance, we are going to what? We're going to round it off to 1 decimal place, meaning to say that I must look at the second decimal place, which is 6, and 6 is above 4, which means I must add 1. And when I say 2 plus 1, I get 3. So the now answer angle C is equals to 16,3 degrees. Now we have used what? We have used our trig ratios to find an unknown angle. And just like that, we are done. All right. That is our first instance whereby we use what? We use trig ratios to find yes. Let me call you back. No, I'm Shimon. Okay, let me call you back. I'm recording here. I'm recording a maths video. Sharp. All right, I'm sorry for that. All right. So, we have found an unknown angle. So, what are we going to do? Observe here, we have got this line BC, and we do not know how long line BC is. We are not going to use Pythagoras theorem to find line BC. We are going to use what? Trig ratios. And here now, we've got 16,3 degrees. So, what do? We are spoiled for choice. From this angle C here, which I have here, right? Or I can use angle A here since right? But using angle A would include that I must say 90 plus 16 plus, and say 180 minus the sum of these two. So it will take us time. So let's use angle C. And we have got opposite and hypotenuse. But here is a choice. From angle C, line BC is what? Is next to, which is, this is an adjacent side. This side is adjacent to angle C. For those who are seeing this as a first video, I said adjacent means next to. This line BC is next to angle C. So I've got adjacent. Now, observe, I've got opposite and I've got hypotenuse. So I'm going to use what? I'm going to use adjacent over hypotenuse. My hypotenuse is 25. So now I come and I say now here, I've got cos, angle C is 16,3. So I say cos 16,3 degrees is equal to, the adjacent I do not know, and it has been labeled point BC. So I write BC on my numerator all over the hypotenuse of 25 like this. And what we are looking for is this side, BC. From here now we're using algebra. So please do yourself a favor. Look through my videos where I teach algebra. If you do not understand algebra. All right. So now once I've got this, now I need to what? I need to get rid of this denominator. So now I come and I say, I've got cos 16,3 degrees which is equals to BC over 25. What I'm going to do in order for me to get rid of this denominator, I multiply by 25 on both sides. So this 25 cancels out that 25. My equation now reads that BC is equal to 25 cos 16, 3. I pull up my calculator and then I calculate. So I can conclude here that therefore side BC is equal to, then I go to the calculator. I now say 25 cos 16, 3 degrees is equal to, I get 23,999. I round it off to the nearest whole number, meaning to say that I just take the number which is before the comma. So I must look at this 10th, the first decimal number. It's above 4, which means I must add 1 here. And when I add 1, it becomes 3 plus 1, which is 24. So now here I come here and I write 24 centimeters. I must remember the unit of measurement because here I was given that it is centimeters. So I say therefore side BC is equals to 24 centimeters. And just like that, I have solved for what? For an unknown side using what? Using trig ratios. Now what you need to observe is this. When I'm now using what I did, I used a known angle and only one side to solve for the unknown side. Whereas if I was using Pythagoras theorem, I would have taken a little bit longer. The process of using a trig ratio is actually way faster than using the Pythagoras theorem. And labeling this triangle is now easier. That was the purpose of why we used the Pythagoras theorem. We learned about Pythagoras theorem. So we could know and we could be able to recognize the names of these sides which are found on a right angle triangle. All right, not a problem. So this is what I would like you to do. If this video has been helpful to you, please subscribe. And not only should you subscribe, you should press on the notification button so that anytime that I get to drop a video, then YouTube notifies you. Share with the people that you love. Share with the people that you're learning with, right? Also, like the video so that YouTube can be able to recommend the video to the people that you do not know. And last but not least, if you have got questions, please ask those questions in the comment section, right? Or if you have got suggestions, put them in the comment section. Thank you very much. See you on the next video. And on the next video, we're going to be talking about what? I'm going to be teaching about special angles. Special angles. In trigonometry, we've got angles that we call special angles. That is our next lesson. Thank you.